I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing.
Lomito!
Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Alright, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena Sunday show. We had the post-fight show yesterday, so we're gonna take it to the next level today. Alright, shout out to everybody in the chat. We have Dr. Mofongo, Hard Recoil, Jack Napier, not sure, Box, Hard Recoil, yeah, who else? Elias, yes, in the chat, and Box. Guys, welcome to the show. We've had a great show today because we're gonna be asking the real hard questions that are gonna piss off a lot of people. All right, we have Mr. BDA in the chat, on Discord, and we also have Recognize the Matrix. Guys, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I have some new sounds here.
What's up?
All right, so
That's me.
No, this is you, man.
Know what I'm talking about? Nigga, he crazy.
All right, great show, because this is the question that came to my mind this morning. It's like, where do you rank Oscar Valdez in terms of pound for pound? Because a lot of people had Tank Davis in there. They have Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
So what about Oscar Valdez? Because not only did he beat Berchelt, the way he beat Berchelt is something to talk about, right? Something to take into consideration. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think he deserves to be in the top 10. Personally, yeah. He's got some. Remember, he beat Scott Quick. That was a tough fight. And now he just totally destroyed Miguel Berchelt. And people can say what they want. Oh, Berchelt was never all that great, but he was on a nice run. And for him to end that run the way he did, when you take Valdez's career in total, I think that win, it should crack him on the top 10.
Right. I wouldn't put him top 5 or anything like that, but maybe he enters the top 10 list, number 10, number 9. Because I'm thinking, what if Tank Davis, what if he would have been the one who knocks out Berchelt? What would people be saying?
Yeah, we know that.
Can I say something? Something about the pound for pound thing? Is like you said, this win. By the way, am I coming in crystal clear?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, listen, if he goes into the pound for pound list, he would have to do something a little bit more than what he did last night. He still got his a full plate at 130. When you got guys like Ioka and Josh Taylor and Lomachenko still there, Lopez, he doesn't make it in the top 10. But it's a nice start. And also, everybody he's beaten, for like a guy like Scott Quigg, who outweighed him by a lot, a guy like Marriaga, now that he's beaten Burchelt. I would have picked Tank Davis to beat those guys, but the bottom line is he didn't. So a lot of the people that have him in the top 10 pound for pound, they have to get him out of there and put Valdez in if they want to be consistent.
You know, when you think of top 10 pound for pound, right, you think of the wins. Was Valdez knockout victory over Burchell a pound for pound win, a sort of that top 10 pound for pound win? And I would say, yeah, Burchell being a champion who had defended his belt, what was it, seven times going into that fight?
I think it was eight. I think eight.
Eight. So he had won 8 title defenses, and for Valdez to take it away from him the old-fashioned style, knocking out the champion. Yeah, I think that you can argue whether or not he belongs in the top 10, but to me that's a top 10 pound for pound kind of win.
Yeah, the performance were, like you said last night, he put it all together. It was a pound for pound performance because, and Butch, I know you want to mention something about this, I think, because this is what you told me, that he really did he did everything a pound for pound guy is supposed to do. And if you compare his performance last night to Tank Davis's performances, like who is Tank Davis's best win right now?
Yeah.
I'll still say Pedraza.
Right? And he did not look anywhere near as dominant as Valdez did last night. Against a better opponent.
Right. Yep.
Some people want to mention Santa Cruz. He was Santa Cruz used to fight at bantamweight, then featherweight, then 130. So I'm not saying he was a midget, but he was definitely the smaller guy in that ring. And he was tagging Tank Davis. So the knockout was spectacular, the Tank Davis knockout over Las Santa Cruz. But the fight overall, it was competitive. So
especially considering Bucho, considering that almost everybody expected Tank Davis to stop Santa Cruz. Most people expected Burchelt to stop Valdez. So right there, the significance of this win and the way he went about it, much better than what Tank Davis has done in a while.
Yeah, some people on this show were saying that Tank Davis was going to walk through Leo Santa Cruz. There was like no chance he was going to be competitive, and it was. Of course, the knockout happened, and then people were saying, well, I told you he was going to walk through. Well, he didn't really walk through that guy. I mean, he landed a massive shot. But again, look at the fight overall. It was competitive. And
right. People thought he was going to win that fight. How many people thought? I mean, there was a good amount of people saying they thought Valdez could pull it off, but at the same time, he was the underdog. Take that into consideration. Is that when you start winning fights that you're not supposed to win, and you do it in kind of impressive fashion, I think you start. I think he needs more wins than that, obviously, but you start knocking on the door of the pound for pound list. And then on top of that, Valdez has talent, right? And we've always noticed that. And this is his second weight class that he's won a championship. And for all that was on the line on that fight, he was technically fighting the number one guy at that weight class and knocked him out. Smaller too. You could definitely tell he's the smaller guy in that ring.
Yep. So how much credit should you give Tank Davis for that win? That's what you said. The Pedraza win is probably his biggest win. When it comes to
that doesn't mean I think that Valdez definitely beats Tank. I'm not saying that.
No.
But we're just talking about resumes.
Yeah. Yeah, because that fight, I don't know. I think Tank is the favorite. It should be the favorite, but he's not walking through Valdez. That's a competitive fight.
But you know what, man? This just goes to show you, if you want to make the big bucks or as much money as you can in this game, you have to fight the best. There's you're not going to be getting the big bucks by fighting mediocre opposition. I suppose you can get away with that after you win a title or after one sensational performance, but eventually the well starts to run dry again and you got to step in there against another good fighter. Tank Davis, the last time he fought somebody where you went, this guy might beat him, whatever, was Pedraza. And that was 2015, I believe. 2015, 2016. I mean, come on, man. It's going to be about 5 years now, 6 years. It's insane. It's insane to me that he has not fought. And look, is it Mayweather? Is it him? Are the other guys docking him? I don't know. All I know is he's not fighting the best. You don't become pound for pound one of the best by doing that. And Valdez already has that win. But Recognize brought up the good point. Would I favor Valdez over Tank Davis? No. Because Tank Davis, I do think he's a good fighter and very dangerous himself, man. He's a little pit bull.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see, the way I look at it is this performance. This is not for me whether he is or isn't. Is his win worthy of top 10 conversation?
Well, like you said, he's knocking on the door, but no, it's not. Like I said, when you got guys like Josh Taylor and Yoka, I mean, yeah, Yoka too. I mean, Yoka's got a much better argument, and then you got Inuit too. So right there, those three guys right there, and Lopez is in there as well. So
Lopez, Lomachenko, Usyk.
I think Usyk's still there, yeah. So
Canelo, obviously. You got a lot of guys. You got a lot of guys that you can probably consider in front of him. I just look at the performance, man. That's what I look at. That's a top 10 kind of performance win. Beating the shit out of the reigning champion. You're the smaller guy. Almost Pacquiao-esque.
Almost. Yes, almost. It was a dominant performance. It had all the factors for a entrance into pound for pound against the underdog. Against a guy that everybody thought was going to walk through him, who had been walking through everybody, shut him down. And not only that, but then shut off his game and then shut off his lights. I mean, it doesn't get more impressive than that.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, though, it was more impressive, right, than if he would have just gone in there and knocked him out in 3 rounds. Because then we would have said, oh, it's just the power.
But it's funny. Yeah. It's funny. I bet you there's people that would have been like, oh my God, because they just look at the numbers game. I hate boxing fans like that. You ever see these boxing fans? The numbers, you know. Let's say the first 2 rounds was just tactical. They're not doing anything, like pretty much what was happening in the first when they fought. And then Valdez would have sparked them out or stopped them in the 4th round. Remember, that fight could have been stopped in the 4th. They would have been like, oh my God, top 10, definitely. But it's like, that's not how it works. I mean, he still destroyed them in the 10th round, but I think sometimes people look at the numbers game. I mean, I try to just look at the performance and the fighter you're going against.
Exactly. Yeah. Because look, if he would have done this against Jason Velez, we would have been thinking next. What else you got? But the fact that he did this against Burchelt, and it just goes to show you too, because he looked bad against Velez. He looked flat, and he said, "Oh, I didn't feel like myself going in there." And obviously, you can look at.
But he knocked him out.
I know, but he did look flat up to the point, and so you go, he makes the excuse, and then you go, that's an excuse. But that's the great thing about boxing is, look, you make the excuses you want, but then jump in there against the best, and that way you can rectify everything you did and prove everybody wrong. That's the beauty of boxing. You can prove people wrong if you want to. All you got to do is step in there against the best. And a lot of these guys don't do that. That's what I hate. When these guys complain and they don't fight anybody. It's like, well, what do you want from me?
People, phones are open. Don't forget, call in. Oh, we already have a phone call. Let's take it. Hold on. Make sure everything's unmuted. All right. 214, you're on the air, 214.
I like to answer the question, Oscar Valdez. No, he's not pound for pound yet. If he can unify, then he's pound for pound.
All right. So he's on the right path, I guess, but he's not there yet. Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about the Tank Davis fight? How much of a chance do you give him?
Well, I give him a really good chance. The Tank Davis never fought anybody with power. He's never ever fought anybody with power. So we don't even know if he has a good chin.
That's a good point.
That's a good point, man.
Yeah.
That's a good point because that's the thing about Burchelt. He'd shown that he had different dimensions, but he'd never fought anybody who was a better boxer than he was, meaning somebody with the type of footwork that Valdez had and the type of sharpness in his shots. So with Tank Davis, I think the caller's point is very valid. Is okay, we know he gets hit, his defense just ain't all that. So now what happens if he goes in there against a guy like Valdez, who's proven to that he can pack dynamite in those punches? That's a great point.
Yeah, I knew Mayweather would never do that. You know, if a guy is a boxer that has power, I knew that he would never put him in there with someone like that, because they just waiting for him to really, really mature. I don't know, maybe 27, 28, and then they're gonna really, take him off the baby wheels and let him actually challenge himself. But right now, they're like taking it slow, picking guys that have a lot of reward value but less danger value. Like Leo Santa Cruz, he can't knock anybody out like Valdez. He can't do anything like to those guys.
Then again, there's a flip side to that coin, right, guys? Though Valdez who's the biggest puncher Valdez's fought? I mean, Burchell's a good puncher, but he doesn't have the hand speed that Tank Davis has. Davis has hand speed and power.
But Valdez shows that he can box and he can clinch. So I think that's a competitive fight. I think it's a really competitive fight. But I think Oscar should take one or two more fights, then either one fight and then unify with the winner of Frampton and Herring / Shakur, and then take it from there. Try to get the Gervonta fight.
Anything else, caller?
Burchell, he needs a new trainer. That guy needs a new trainer because he didn't do him very well in that fight.
You don't think
he should take him out?
You don't think he should retire?
No, not if he doesn't have a brain injury, then he needs to get a new trainer, because the way his leg wouldn't unlock, it looked like he had a brain injury.
All right.
He froze them with that shot.
But he was also galloping during the fight, and that was bothering. That was kind of troubled him. So if he's doesn't have a brain injury and he decides to continue to box, he really needs to get a trainer that can teach him how to box and work on his hooks, because they're too wide and it doesn't have any sting on them.
All right. Well, thanks for the phone call, all right? Call back again next time.
I think Burchell's going to be out for a while. You might not even see him this year.
Hell fucking no, man. He probably will retire.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. I'm trying to fix this thing. All right. Anyways, guys, phone lines are open. Don't be shy. Call in. Let us know what you think about Oscar Valdez and his performance, and whether or not he deserves to be ranked in the top 10 pound-for-pound list. What else? What do we have here? People in the chat are saying he was concussion. Dude got Nate Robinson, basically. All right. Tank is fighting Gary Russell Jr. next, I think. Tank is not fighting Gary Russell Jr. That would be a good fight, but I don't think that's happening. I don't even know what.
Maybe you're going to keep fighting little guys. Might as well fight him.
Yeah. All right. Let's check the phone lines. Oh, you know what? Let's create some controversy. We're going to go back to this top 10 pound-for-pound list that I found on this channel. Fuck, where is it? Oh, there we go. All right. No, not showing up. It's not working. Fuck. Hi, guys.
Yeah, it was probably because it was captured with a snipping tool, or whatever it's called. And for some reason, it doesn't show up on OBS. But while you try to figure that one out, man, the thing about the Burchell is he's very, very, very well conditioned. The guy's got balls. But this is the classic case where a guy has to step in, his management, his team, and they got to say, look, we know you might want to come back quickly, whatever. You got to take it easy, man. Because even before the knockout, it was bad enough to get sparked like that, but he was taking heavy blows before that. His equilibrium was off. So he needs to be looked after. Also, with the Tank Davis thing, I remember the rumor is that he's not going to be fighting at 130 or 135, meaning it's either 140 or 126. I mean, forget about 147. What the fuck is he gonna do there? So if he fights Gary Russell Jr., does this, especially now that Valdez knocked out Burchell, does this look even worse for him to be fighting a fucking featherweight?
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, he could beat these guys. I keep saying it. I would probably pick him to win these fights. Even still against Valdez. He just doesn't take any risk. That's the problem, He's trying to play it safe and make you imagine that he could do what Valdez did to Burchell. And even though we may say, yeah, I think he could stop these dudes. I would agree with you, but that's different than actually doing it.
Yeah, but would you give him a little credit though, man, if he did beat Gary Russell Jr.? Or like, how much credit would you give?
I give him credit for knocking out Leo Santa Cruz. I thought it was a great knockout. I'm not one that just totally dismissed it. I didn't say it's Leo Santa Cruz. That's as if Leo Santa Cruz was getting slept at 126, and then saying I'm going to go up in weight. Now, am I shocked that Tank knocked him out? No. Did I expect Tank to win by knockout? Yeah. But, again, and, it's different than thinking it and actually doing it.
All right, can you see the stream that I'm doing here? How do you call it, Mr. BDA? Help me out here.
Oh, yeah. I see the chat. Okay.
What happened? Oh, okay.
All right. So there you have it. This pound for pound is from, it looks like an LWC channel. So.
Is this real?
Yeah. No jokes, man. Could you actually could you put in there Valdez? I mean, if you have Shakur Stevenson in there and Caleb Plant.
Okay. Right off the bat, I got like 4 people that I could put Valdez over. Just look on the eye test alone.
Name them.
Okay. Caleb Plant for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Shakur Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
Gervonta Davis. Jamal Charlo.
Oh, that's Jermal, not Jermel.
Yeah,
because he has.
I don't have him over Jamel.
Oh hell!
I'll leave Jamel over him if I had to pick. But
Jermal, that's
Jamal Charlo. Nah, I got him over Jamal.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
and you're right. Like, listen, yeah, go ahead.
Shakur Stevenson, Caleb Plant. Like Mark keeps calling him sweet cheeks. Those guys, what have they done? It's insane. Oh my goodness gracious. I can't handle this, man.
I think that's disrespectful. It's a little too disrespectful, don't you think?
Well, hey, listen, you know what's even more disrespectful? This list.
Is Canelo even in there?
No, he don't got Canelo in there.
Actually, though, I understand that though, because if you want to be a purist and you say, well, look, he's being cut with PEDs, then he should be probably excluded from that one.
Inoue? I mean, I don't know. There's just some names. Shakur Stevenson is like a big issue here. Why is he even there? But anyways, fuck that.
This list is terrible, but yeah. I got like 4 guys that you can argue Oscar Valdez has done better than them.
Yeah, man. I mean, the fact that they even have Jamal Charlo, a good win against Davidenchenko, but if that win over Davidenchenko makes him pound for pound, then I suppose Golovkin should be in that list as well, shouldn't he?
No logic.
We have a phone call, guys. Let's take it right now. 407. You're on the air. 407.
Hey guys, I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet. Mm-hmm. But honestly, if Valdez keeps this up, I think he could be pound for pound. Maybe not in the highest, maybe like in the middle though. Like I'm gonna say 5, 6, 7 around there. If he keeps this up, which I do think he can, if he keeps up with this kind of style, because like I don't know where all this head movement and all this great such a good game plan came from. Probably obviously Eddie Reynoso, but hey, it's not the trainer that's fighting in the ring; it's the fighter. So the way that he improved so much after having a couple fights that personally I think should have been as competitive, that was very impressive. And honestly, timing beats speed, and if Oscar and his team can get a good game plan to time Tank, I think he could give him some big issues. But he's got to make it uncomfortable for Tank.
Yeah, I agree. Good point. He could make it to the middle. Go ahead.
That jab from Valdez, like I said, it was working overtime last night. Well, not overtime, but it was the fact that he's a shorter guy outboxing the taller guy. That takes skill. That's skill right there. That's, when people say skills pay the bills, that's when skill comes into play. So, and we've seen Tank Davis getting out jabbed before. Pedraza out jabbed him. Santa Cruz was tagging him with the jab, and Valdez. Okay, I know he's shorter than Pedraza and than Santa Cruz, but guess what? Heavier jab. Different look because he's a little bit shorter as well. He's about Davis's own height, so I don't see why he wouldn't be able to land it.
He fought the perfect game plan for
and
the
the left hook too.
The left hook.
Yeah, he's that boy's a mid-range hooker, bro.
Were you surprised that he hurt? Were you guys surprised that he was able to hurt Burchelt?
No, because I thought
not really.
Going into that fight. Oh, I'm sorry. You asking the caller. Go ahead, caller.
Why everybody? Go ahead, caller.
No, I wasn't surprised. That's all I was gonna say.
All right.
I was impressed how he hurt him and kept him hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it a temple shot? Or what was
it's
it?
Like,
because
I think.
Temple.
Go ahead.
It's like Recognize was saying a while not too long ago. The way it's kind of like how Fury kept Wilder hurt the whole time. That kind of style, like that's exactly what Oscar did. He just kept him hurt. He didn't just hurt him, but he kept him hurt, and that was just excellent how he did it with the jabs and left hooks.
At one point, Burchell got him. You could see he was getting himself out of that trouble, and then the 8th round, you could see he was flirting with it. I think it was the 5th round. Drops him in the 4th. Valdez is kind of beating him throughout the whole 5th round. In the last 10 seconds or 20 seconds, Burchell looks like he's back on his feet. He looks like he even hits hits Valdez with a shot that hurts him, keeps him hurt in the 6th, got him hurt mostly through the 7th round. And then towards the ending of the 7th, he catches him with one of those hooks. It looks like it buckles Burchell, turns the tide, and then the 8th round happens, and then he just keeps him. He keeps him on Queer Street.
Caller, anything else?
Yeah. The pound for pound list. That, no offense to whoever made it, but it's obviously someone that, like, I don't want to be rude, but is a casual probably.
Terrible.
I don't know why, but what's wrong with the foreign fighters? Like, look, honestly, I think Torapito is back in the pound for pound list with the way he's been looking really good, along with Juan Francisco Estrada. I also include Inoue, Kazuto Ioka, Josh Taylor. Who else? As much as I don't like to say Canelo, only because of skill set, not resume, no disrespect towards him. And Teofimo Lopez. And honestly, I include heavyweight. So you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say AJ and Fury as well.
Nigga, he crazy.
Yeah, I agree, man. These guys.
Hey, you tripping, fool?
That's right. But thanks for the phone call, all right? Call back again next time.
All right. Y'all take care. God bless.
God bless. That was terrible, man.
Yeah. And he was serious. But
I'm sure.
Good day, gentlemen.
Oh, Mark, what's up, man? Your thoughts?
How's it going? On which specifically?
Everything.
Is Valdez a top 10 in your opinion?
Well, first give us your take on the fight.
No.
Yeah. Start with that because I didn't get your take though.
I thought the fight was really one-sided, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all in agreement on that, right?
Yes.
Valdez put on the performance of his career, very dominant. I can't really say anything but give him plaudits, man. He surprised me. Like, I thought he had the power to hurt Burchell, but I didn't think he'd actually capitalize on it. I thought Burchell's work rate would get him.
All right. And what about the question over here? Pound for pound.
No.
Not even top
What win
10.
over Richelton, Scott Quigg, and Jason Velez?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Like, yeah, he needs a couple more to be in that conversation. Maybe one more win. Like, if he were to uniform, let's say he fought Tank next and he beat Tank, yeah, I'd put him pound for pound number 9 or 10.
Can he enter a pound for pound list without beating Tank Davis?
Yeah, of course. If you beat Shakur Stevenson, let's say Shakur beats Carl Frampton, or Jamel Herring, one of the two, and then he beats Shakur, sure. If he were to fight Rakhimov or whatever, yeah. If he goes unified in this division, sure, no problem.
Right, no, exactly. But in order to unify 130, he would have to fight Tank unless Tank leaves that division officially. Because I don't know where this guy stands right now. Where is he? Like, is he going to be fighting at 130, 135? I
don't know what Tank. He's talking about fighting Mario Barrios at 140.
Yeah. Okay, so that's true then. Fuck.
Mark, I want you to use your third eye. What does your third eye tell you about Valdez? It's a trick question.
What, bro? I don't have 3 eyes.
You passed. Stop right there. You passed.
No, I don't think he'll ever get pound for pound status. Like to be honest, that's just my own take.
Yeah, probably.
I thought he put on a pound for pound performance. That doesn't mean that he is pound for pound. I think he put on one of those performances. He did it the old school way. He beat the champion, convincingly, right? He knocked him out.
Yeah. I think it's fair to make him like number 1 in that division right now, though. I think it is fair. He just beat the number 1 guy. He's had good wins in the division. Adam Lopez, Scott Fire. He's got a better resume than Tank at 130.
I had Burchell number 1 in that and going into that fight, so I think it's only fair to give it to Valdez. Yeah.
But not quite pound for pound. There's a few different wins that get pound for pound, man. Like, it just depends on who he wants to fight, who he takes on. Like, I don't know. I would have thought Jojo Diaz and stuff like that, but who knows?
All right, guys, so I'm going to open up StreamYard. Fuck, where's the link?
That would be a nice fight, him and Jojo. I think he beats him, but still, like to see it.
Fat Jojo. I don't know if he stops him. Maybe. He certainly
what was the pound for pound list you had up on the screen? That thing was trash. What was that?
That was great. How dare you?
I think it's a great.
Nigga, you bullshitting.
Well, I don't know. It's from some YouTube channel, Champ site. And they're like LDBC. Yeah, what do you think about this, Mark? What would you change here?
He's probably trolling, man. He's probably just trolling.
What would I change about this?
Yes.
Straight off of the bat, Caleb Plant is gone, Jamal Charlo is gone, Shakur Stevenson is gone, Javante Davis is gone, Manny Pacquiao, as much as people will hate it, gone. He's been active for 2 years. I might keep Jermel. Jermel's in the convo. Crawford I'd keep. Spence, possibly. Tiafimo I'd keep. Who else is there? Josh Taylor, possibly as well, yeah. And then I'd add in other fighters like Noah Inoue, Canelo. If people want to include Lomachenko they still can. You could still include Alexander Usyk. There's lots of names that belong there ahead of Caleb Plant. I could literally name 10 alternatives to Caleb Plant.
I think I saw Loma in there.
To Caleb Plant. No, Loma's not on that list.
He wasn't. Okay, maybe I was saying things. I was going to say that. Of course, Loma's not on that list. Not on that list.
Yeah, no, I don't see, I don't expect to see casuals like this. Obviously, this is a casual list. It's obviously one of those PBC, LDBC fanatics. So one of those, and I'm not even going to say the word, but one of those lowlifes. Man.
So what the fuck you saying,
you don't, I'm saying you're stupid, bro. But let's be honest, man. There's a lot,
Are you tripping, fool?
That sounds like a troll. It looked like a troll list, man.
Yeah.
Somebody was
Looks
trolling.
like it, but he's deadly serious. I know.
Nigga, you bullshit.
Deadly serious.
I don't know,
So
that was terrible list.
the
But people
list
are
is
entitled
chronic,
to their
man.
own
Like,
opinions. People are entitled to their own opinions. Respect freedom
yeah,
of
I
speech.
know, but like at the same point, people think people think a lot of things. People think pedophilia is okay. It doesn't mean it is, bro. People are stupid.
That's true, though. That's true.
Yeah.
StreamYard is open, people. Join us. You know what? Anybody can join StreamYard. Anybody. Also, phone lines are open. Don't be shy. Call in.
Be careful when you say anybody.
Yeah, that's true, though. So, yeah, I agree with Mark. Valdez is not there yet. Almost there. Almost there. The fact that some people have Jermal Charlo there just because he beat who? Who he beat? He beat J-Rock. He beat Devrachenko, who wasn't a champion.
Who's coming off a loss?
To
coming
Golovkin. No,
yeah,
wait.
So
Coming off of 3 hard fights, he was 1-3. One of those fights he arguably could have lost as well against Jack Coquet.
I forgot about that fight. Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, can you be?
Let's be real.
What?
They have Jabal on their list because 1, he's black, and 2, he's a 2-weight world champ.
What's more impressive, to be a 2-time world champion by just beating a champion and moving up in weight, not even defending the title, and then getting another title, or is it more impressive to actually beat a guy like Berchelt who had like 8 title defenses? You know what I mean?
Look, bro, I have Oscar Valdez higher than Jamal. Like,
yeah.
If I were to do like a top 50 pound for pound list, Oscar Valdez would be way higher. Like, he'd probably be somewhere like 17 or something right now, which gives you an idea. He's not far away. One more win could push him into that combo. But like Jamal, no, Jamal's nowhere near. His brother's done way better. His brother's on the cusp of undisputed, so his brother deserves way more plaudits.
Right. Well, Jamal has a chance now to actually make it into the list. I mean, it seems like middleweight has just been abandoned. I don't know what's going on with Golovkin. And then you have Andrade there, who, I mean, I would pick Jamal over Andrade. I don't know what you guys think, but that would be a good
I
win
pick him
of his
over
division.
Andrade too. Andrade has never beaten a current or former world champion. That's a problem.
Oh.
Yeah, if you're gonna compare Jamal to Andrade, yeah, Jamal gets the nod over him for sure. But then again, who's Andrade, right? What has he done?
Good point, man. All right, hold on. Let me check.
Besides call everybody out. I want to fight this guy. I want to fight that guy. I want to fight this one.
At the end of the day, boxing pound for pound is subjective, but you gotta use a little something. Like, if you do make a pound for pound list, you gotta be able to back it up, and you can't just pick whoever. The most common mistake I often see people make when it comes to pound for pound list is when they go, well, I think because he could beat this guy, he could beat that guy. I was like, no, man, it's gotta be about pound for pound list. In my mind, is accomplishments number 1, meaning the competition you beat and how you beat them. And also longevity plays a factor in there. You can't just say, well, I think this guy would beat that guy on paper, so therefore, because I mean, otherwise you can just have whoever you want in your pound for pound list, and then it's not a pound for pound list anymore. It's just who you think could be pound for pound in the future. That's not how it works, man.
I could just name guys that I like and just throw them, guys that I like the most, and just say that's my top 10 pound for pound.
Well, it seems like that's what some people do. It seems like that's I mean, you never know. But listen, hey, Valdez, though, he's making the right moves. I hope he doesn't get into another situation with the lightweights that we're seeing with them, where Garcia and Lopez, they got one good win, and then all of a sudden it's, hey, I want $7 million to fight this guy, otherwise I don't fight. Because it seems but it's true, right? I mean, some people are getting into a bit of I know they want more money. Look, listen, I'd be doing more or less the same thing. They pay me what a big bucks, but these guys also have to keep in mind that it's a business, and if you're not attracting crowds, especially now with the whole feed situation, then what do you expect? You got to be realistic, man.
I'm gonna name my top 10 fighters that I like to watch in no particular order. Okay, Triple G, Lomachenko, Usyk, Errol Spence, Sean Porter, Roman Gonzalez, Francisco Estrada, Inouye. How many did I name? It's like 7.
About 16 or something. Well, I
He
don't know.
named 8. He named 8.
8.
I named 6.
By the way,
guys.
real quick, Doctor Mofongo in the chat room says it's subjective.
Mofongo.
He says it's subjective. He says, but 2 + 2 should equal 4. I agree. Then you have Boxing Virus who says the thing about pound for pound list is it works how you want it to work. See, that I disagree with. I mean, then it's not a pound for pound list, and at that point, you can't just change that criteria and say, well, pound for pound list should be about this, therefore this guy should be in there because I think he's the most skilled guy. Yeah, but competition, it has to enter
That's what
the equation.
That was
too.
Teddy Atlas. I remember a long time ago when he was on Friday Night Fights, he was giving his criteria for his pound for pound list, and he was saying he was a lot of it was like the eye test. He wasn't even looking at records. He was like who can, if he looked like an unbeatable
eye
guy,
test.
Yeah, some shit like that. I was like, man, that doesn't really
The
make
eye
sense.
test is the most latent excuse for being able to push a bias, because essentially it's like, well, I think he can win. So but there's no foundation other than my eyes, they're able to see. So at that point, like when Audley Harrison was 2-0, I could have been like, oh, he's an Olympic gold medalist. He looks really good. He's got a jab, pound for pound #1, bro. I think you're gonna beat everybody.
Yeah,
you can just do that.
Subjective, very
Hey,
subjective.
the worst thing is, I mean, the worst thing, one of the worst examples here in Montreal, here in Quebec, rather, there was a guy, Stephen Butler. This guy was coming out of the amateurs, and I heard the press was comparing him as the next great. I forget. I don't know the name of the hockey player, but there's this great hockey player from one of the
Wayne
greatest.
Gretzky?
No,
Wayne
it wasn't
Gretzky.
Gretzky. It was another guy.
Oh,
But anyway, they were
Lemieux.
comparing. I forget the
No,
guy's
wait,
name.
what's
They were
his
saying.
name?
Anyway,
okay.
listen. The point is, they were saying that he was going to be
Guy
the
Lafleur.
best. What that guy was to hockey, Butler was going to be to boxing. And I said, at that point, I'd seen many hype. At that point, I'd seen many hype jobs coming and going, and so I said, okay, let's wait and see. And then he got into a fight with that undefeated guy from Ontario, where somebody then threw in a champagne bucket into the crowd and into the ring rather. And he lost to Murata, and I think he just lost a couple of weeks ago. Butler did. So, the eye test, it can only take you so far, man.
Yeah,
you need to be able to prove that.
Hey guys, we have a few people. Sorry to cut you off, but we have a few people on StreamYard, so let's introduce them. We have Boxing Learner and TY. So who wants to go for the Boxing Learner? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was the guy that just called before.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. Do you want to say anything?
Let's see. I forgot.
All right, we'll move on. We'll talk to
Don't worry about it,
TY. Are you there?
Yeah, what's up? What's up, fellas?
What's up? Welcome. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, that boy, he fought beautifully last night, man. It wasn't the typical Mexican style, that we used to seeing guys in the trenches just trading, just beating each other's brains out. He maintained distance. He switched stances. He pivoted. When he had a chance to land shots, he loaded up and he capitalized. It looked a lot. I may be reaching a little bit here, but it looked a lot like Tito versus Bernard Hopkins. He just took advantage of everything Berchel wasn't, and it was a masterclass. I would say that it was a beautiful fight, and Berchel, he just looked like a mummy to me. Like he was just coming forward in straight lines, and when he tried to pressure him, he was pretty much running on fumes. And I think that was the plan: just let him pressure him, let him chase him, and then a round or two later, we probably can finish him and get him out of here. And it worked beautifully.
Yeah, I think Berchel was the plan was very simple, and I think they were expecting to be able to take those Valdez punches. And I think he was surprised not only at the speed but the power that Valdez was bringing to the table. How much?
That was the problem.
Yeah,
that was the problem. He couldn't. Everything kind of worked out in his he was catching Valdez, and he was making. He was even at times. I don't want to say he was hurting Valdez, but he was getting his attention, backing him up. Especially when he got hurt. When he was hurt, he came back in that, like I said, in the end of the 5th round, and kind of kept it up in the 6th round too. but,
Yeah, but
I don't think he could take his punches. That's what it was.
Foot and the hand speed difference. It was so obvious from the onset. Like, man, he's beating you to the punch. He's walking you in the shots. Like, I don't know what Burchell could have done differently. I mean, I read an article before a few days before the fight saying he was, weight was maybe an issue for him, but
that's what Andre Ward and it was either Ward or Timothy Bradley said in the middle of the fight. They didn't say he was weight drained. They said he's punching like he's weight drained.
He was. It was like just a whole bunch of arm punches. Like it wasn't like he was just his legs.
Yeah, that's right.
A bunch of arm punches. Yeah. Like, damn, bro.
You know what? And maybe this is Burchell's style, right? The way he fights, the way he's kind of his stance, and the way Valdez was fighting small and letting off those explosive hooks. Those hooks kept landing in the perfect spot, kept hitting him around the side of the head, where you can lose your equilibrium.
Right.
And then he kept catching them like 3 or 4, like put it this way, I saw like 5 great shots that hit him there. And it was no wonder he was getting, he was fucking them up.
Yeah, and all the punches Burchell were landing, they were like arm shots. They wasn't like he had his legs under him. Like, and even if he did connect it, they were few and far between. They were, back-to-back shots, 2 and 3 combos the way Valdez was landing. Right. So,
was Valdez ever in any trouble? I think Burchell won round 6 and 7. He was really starting to pressure and let his hands go, and Valdez was really starting to move a lot of wasted movement, to be honest.
Yep, you're right. He was pressuring him because he had wobbled him in the 4th and the 5th. So I mean, if that was the game plan, let him pressure, let him chase you, because he's already running on fumes. So in about a round or 2, he's gonna be ready to go. That's what I was thinking as he was pressuring him and he was exhausting himself. That's exactly what I was thinking.
How much credit do you guys want to give Eddie Reynoso?
Man, Eddie might be trainer of the decade if he keeps going. I want to see what he does with Andy Ruiz when he comes back. I want to see what Andy looks like.
In the chat, the Brotherhood says Burchell was punching fresh air.
He was, but he was landing some shots too. But it wasn't. At times, I thought he did some damage. Maybe Valdez was a little gassed, getting hit by a guy who's naturally bigger than you. Will naturally just make you, like fight off the back foot, because he was doing that a lot. Like at the ending of the 5th and then the 6th and 7th. But then he just caught him again in the 8th round, man. He fucked him up.
Yeah, he brought them. Yeah, he took over. See, I think Burchell started to lose respect. He started not respecting Valdez, and then Valdez, hit him fucking with hard shots again, and Burchell went back to like, oh fuck, I don't want to let my hands go. Don Ramon in the chat says haters always hating on the winner, like Garcia. I guess he means Ryan Garcia. Nobody's hating on fucking Valdez, man. Or maybe in the chat, I don't know, but I don't think anybody's hating on Valdez. I mean, we're all giving the guy credit, right?
Oh, man, that's funny. Man, I saw that list by Champside a few weeks ago. Man, I was like, man, this dude got to be borderline retarded, man. He's one of those PBC fanboys, man.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. That's a terrible.
He was talking about Canelo. He's in the same category with Lance Armstrong. We always knew he was a paid user or whatever. It just came out, later in life or whatever. I'm like, man, come on, man. Like, you can't deny Canelo's skill and all this other shit. But the dude, you got Caleb playing. He ain't done shit since he beat Kentucky. No. Man, come on, bro.
Facts.
Shakur, not even there yet. He might be there.
He's gonna get
yet.
there.
Yeah. Jermel, I agree though. But I wouldn't put Jermel that high, but he's fucking in there, man. This guy can unify 154. If he does that, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Lil Charlo over Big Charlo. Lil Charlo.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Me too, man. He's more proven. That's he's for better fighters.
Mm-hmm. Who cares?
I know he took an L. He took an L, but he came back and he won by knockout, man. So
yeah, some people shit on somebody for losing, even if he avenges the loss, they always go back to that loss, right? Like, well, but he did lose to. Like, who cares, man? Who cares about the fucking loss? Jesus.
I don't know why. I don't know why they so high on Errol Spence. Like Keith Thurman didn't get the same love for beating the same guys. Like, I don't know why they so high Errol Spence over there, man. Like,
yeah, you're
them
right.
people-
Yeah.
them Al Hamer's PVC stimulus checks must be nice, man. I swear, because I don't know what they see in Errol Spence so much.
Yeah, I don't think you can put Spence number one because he hasn't even unified the division yet. Well, he has 2 belts, I believe, but he hasn't cleaned up the division. He needs to fight Crawford. This is my issue, though. It's very hard for me to have a number 1 pound for pounder when there's another pound for pounder in the same weight division.
Right. And you talking all this shit like why he coming to my fights? Like, man, if Roy Jones, you showed up at Roy Jones or James Toney fight back in the 80s or Marvin Hagler, like, I'm finna come see about you. Why you here, man? Because you must want some smoke, man. You talking like a bitch.
The Brotherhood is basically telling you, are you serious? Spence is a beast.
Right.
Yeah, nobody said he isn't, but he's not number 1. The number 1 pound for pound.
No, he's not number 1. I like Spence out of all the PBC welterweights. He's definitely the best guy. I think he's probably. I'll say this. He's probably number 1 in that welterweight division. I think he can beat Bud Crawford. That's just a guess. But I wish he would handle that situation a little bit better. Just like say, look, do what Roy Jones was doing to Bernard Hopkins. Just 60-40. That's it. I don't got nothing to say to you until you could accept 60-40. Even if he did that, I'll be like, okay, if the fight doesn't get made, he's already drawn his, he drew his line in the sand and said, this is what it's going to take for me and you to fight.
This is really dragging. This isn't Floyd Pacquiao. I mean, it's not like the more you wait, the more money you're gonna get. This is what maybe they think is gonna happen, but it's really not. I mean, you have fucking Crawford fighting Kell Brook, for the love of God. This isn't Pacquiao.
By that time, Floyd and Pacquiao had accomplished way more than both those fighters.
Right. So, yeah, the weight kind of helped the fight, even though we all hated it, but it ended up working out. But for these 2 guys, they're not Floyd or Pacquiao. They're not. So they better do this right now.
I don't think he could beat Bud. Like the Spence that I saw, like versus Algieri and Lamont Peterson, he looked like really lean and he looked really explosive. Like the Spence we're seeing today, he just looks lethargic, and his combination and his punches, they look so predictable to me. Like he doesn't look like the same fighter. And it later came out that he got rid of his trainer and he was training himself. And what I thought was confirmed. Like he just doesn't look like that lean, explosive, hungry guy earlier.
Yeah, don't he look slimmer now? Doesn't he look like kind of slim? Like he's got this long torso. He was more. I want to say he was thicker, but he seems a lot. I think he might be struggling with the weight. I'm not making no excuses for Spence,
that's exactly
but I have a feeling weight's the problem.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like Bud, he physically matured into the weight class. Like he look at how his frame is filled out. Go back and look at those Algieri fights. Go look at how lean and explosive Spence was. Even though he was 140 pounder Algieri, but Spence don't look like the same guy, man.
I'm gonna post some pictures. Just give me a few seconds, guys.
Yeah, you could make that argument that maybe he spent too much time at the welterweight division, and he's fighting on fumes now.
His legs don't look the same. I mean, he ain't letting his hands go the same. He just don't look like the same fighter to me.
Yeah.
All right, let me post some pictures over here.
I mean, granted, he looked really good physically when he came back for this Danny Garcia fight. But, man, Danny wasn't no bigger threat than Mikey. I mean, both of them slow feet. Don't let their hands
I think
go.
the only question for me was him coming for the Danny Garcia fight was him coming back from, the injury that he suffered outside the ring, obviously, with the car accident.
Right. But that's no indication of how he going to fight against Bud. I mean, Bud can stand in the center of the ring. He can use his legs. He ain't going to fight nothing like Danny.
It's 50-50 for me. Even though I got Spence, I'm not 100% sure he wins that. It could, because like you said, Crawford looks really strong at the weight class. I don't like his competition level compared to Earl Spence, but the one thing you can say, he's really strong at that weight class, and you never know, because sometimes Spence could be a little chinny in fights.
Yeah, and the thing about it, guys talk about Bud, oh, he's chinny, but like he makes the weight naturally. I don't think his punch resistance will be affected as much as Spence, you know, who we suspect as weight drain. So I like Bud. It's a 70-30 fight for me.
Hey, Recognize, can you see the pictures?
Yeah, look at that difference, man. Okay, the one on the right is when he fought Sean Porter, right?
Correct. The other one is Danny Garcia.
You see, okay, when he fought Sean Porter, to me, that was his best performance. And this is what I mean. Yes, he was in a dogfight, but he was able, and I know Porter doesn't get credit for like punching power, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but he's got respectable punching power, and he fought an excellent game plan. And I think that you got to be the way Spence looks on your right hand side versus the Spence that you see against Danny Garcia. That's a big difference, bro. Holy shit!
He looks a lot better.
I didn't even think it was that bad. I didn't even think it was that bad.
He even has a better tan. Like he looks more pale on the left.
Yeah, because when you start looking sick, right? It doesn't matter your skin tone. You can see the pastiness in your skin.
Give you an example. You know? Roy Jones, when he came back down to fight Antonio Tarver, he looked like shit. His body
was pasty. He was dry. You know, everything was off about him that night.
Hey, let me ask y'all something. What y'all think about the Broner fight? I didn't see it. I read some tweets and guys were saying, you know, it was a gift decision or whatever. But what y'all think about Broner?
I didn't see it, so I can't.
I didn't see it, but I'll give you a stat. The Puerto Rican kid landed 209 punches. Broner 97.
Oh, so he got a gift then. They must be fattening Broner up for somebody down the line, maybe a Thurman.
That's what I was thinking too. And I was hoping. Honestly, I know I might sound like a fucking a bully, but I would hope that they put him in there with Earl Spence.
Nah, I think
I'm just serious.
It's gonna be
get him out of there.
It's gonna be Prograis.
Yeah, Regis Prograis would beat him up too, man.
And it makes sense because if Prograis is moving up to 147, you don't want to put him in against the champion yet. You know, it's always it's like a testing the waters fight. You know, I mean, he's testing 147. That would be an opponent. He has a name. He has decent skills. So Broner is a perfect opponent. But at this point, I mean, Broner is not even delivering the goods, man.
I was looking at Regis Prograis on Instagram when he's not training. He could put on weight. He puts on weight. Not bad either. He puts on like looks like about a guy that goes up to like 170.
What y'all think about Tio talking about he want the 140 pound unification undisputed winner? For me, I mean, I guess it makes the most money, but I mean, I don't think he could beat Baranchek or Zepeda. I mean, if you're asking me, but I mean, if the fight is there and it makes financial sense, go for undisputed back to back. But for me, I don't think he could beat Zepeda or Baranchek.
What are you talking about?
He's talking about Teofimo.
About Tio going back to back undisputed versus the Ramirez Taylor winner. But personally, I don't really think he could beat Zepeda or Baranchek, you know, at this point. But I mean, if the fight makes sense for him to go back to back undisputed, go for it. But what do y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. First of all, I think Josh. If Josh Taylor win, I'm taking Josh to beat Teofimo. It's a styles matchup thing. I think Ramirez, if he pulls it off, Ramirez is a better stylistic fight for Teofimo, where he has a shot to win. I'm not saying he would win. I'm not saying he would. I'm saying he has a shot to win, because you know Tio at heart is a strong counterpuncher. You know, he looks for you to come in so he could pull that fucking that overhand right, catch with a good shot, and then
Yeah,
follow it up with some combinations.
Right. Ramirez would play right. Ramirez got a good engine, but he would play right into T.O.'s hands.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a better chance he would do that. Where Josh Taylor, he's a southpaw. He's tall. I think he's like 5'10", 5'11", or some shit like that. So he's gonna be the taller guy. He from the southpaw stance, he could do He could do more things that can confuse Teofimo.
Okay, so what about the other statement, Baranchek or Zepeda? How do you see him versus one of those guys?
I mean, look, I get what you're saying. If those dudes hit him, they could hurt him. But I would probably take Teofimo to beat them.
I mean, Teofimo's he's a big lightweight, right?
It's not guaranteed, but I would take him. I would take him over them. I don't think those guys are that far apart. You know how people be like, oh, they just, if this guy gets in, he'll blow him out. Like when who did Josh Taylor beat in the who did he fight? Was it Baranchik or was one of?
It was
who was it?
In the semifinal? It was Baranchik, no?
Yeah, that was a close fight, bro. Right? Wasn't that a close fight? It
was a tough fight. Josh Taylor is in tough fights, but he manages to look dominant. I don't know if that even makes sense. Like for example, the Postol.
Prograis could have won that fight. Prograis could have won that fight against Josh Taylor.
Was kind of ooh.
Was that? Oh, people in the chat say he beat Baranchik in a close fight. Okay.
All right, caller, who would you take? Here's a question for you: Regis Prograis versus Teofimo.
Regis.
Yeah, me too. I will take Prograis to beat him too.
So they're moving him too fast.
Yeah. So what's next for Lomachenko? I heard Bob say he may be fighting Nakatani next. What y'all think about that?
Dangerous fight, brother. That's a dangerous fight for Lomachenko.
Yeah,
Bob was on Barbershop Conversation earlier. He mentioned that.
I mean, that's a dangerous fight, bro. I mean, not for Nakatani. Nakatani is who he is. He's there to spoil the show,
Exactly.
And Lomachenko, if Loma, and this is the thing about Loma, this is why I'm a fan of his. I know he would take that fight. If it's like, all right, Bob, if this is the fight if this is the route I gotta take, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? If he comes in gamed, he's coming to win. I think he could beat him. But Nakatani, man, he's a dangerous dude. He's tall. He's almost 6 feet tall. He's rangy. He's got some pop. Obviously, you saw what happened with I think Verdejo's finished, but still, Verdejo was kind of hurting him in the beginning. I think dropped him twice, and he came back and knocked him the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He gave Tio some problem too.
Yeah, it'd probably be a better fight, Well, it'd probably make more sense for Devin Haney to go ahead and give Lomachenko a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because you really need that fight to solidify yourself. Even though he didn't give you a chance, I mean, you can still beat the guy. It's kind of like with what I say. Even though Lomachenko doesn't have the title, I mean, he'll kind of solidify what you want to be. Like kind of like what Plant and Benavidez need to do. Even though Benavidez ain't got a title, Plant, you really need to go ahead and fight this dude.
Yeah, but would Devin Haney even want to take that fight? I mean, because if he looks bad against Lomachenko, they're gonna be comparing his Lomachenko performance with the Teofimo Lopez performance, right? But what's the point? Like he already Devin Haney already has a belt, and he already wants to fight Teofimo Lopez. Why take that risk against Lomachenko?
I mean, I just see it as, hey, you beat the guy that gave you the belt. I mean, now you put more pressure on Teofimo. I mean, Teofimo looking at your record like, man, you ain't really done shit. I mean, you fought, 20 cab drivers in Mexico? So if you go ahead and beat Lomachenko,
yeah,
now the pressure's on Teofimo. Why not? Why not go ahead and fight him?
Yeah.
I mean, from a fan's perspective, I want to see that fight. I don't know if Eddie Hearn would want that fight. But
what else is out there for Devin? I mean, who's he gonna fight? Linares or who's he gonna fight?
Yeah,
I don't mind those fights for him. I don't mind, the Linares, the Fortuna. Those are stepping stones.
Fortuna, Nakatani, and Lomachenko. Go ahead. Those are your three options.
Yeah. I would definitely want to put him in there with either one of those three you just mentioned, just to get a good test. Like skill wise, I think Devin Haney's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with his skills. You could say maybe he can pick up on the power. I think that comes down to punching technique and experience. Because he's definitely a big enough dude where I can see he can fix that power and be better, be more effective in the ring, win more impressive. But he just needs the bodies.
He's ready,
what he
man.
needs.
He's ready. I mean, he wants to call
I think
himself.
he's ready. Yeah,
he
I
wants
think
to
he's
call
ready.
himself a champion. Then you gotta start unifying.
He don't sit out on his punches of me enough. Like it's like he's trying to punch, but he's trying to move at the same time. Like, man,
but he has power.
And roll the counter. Like sit down on it and roll.
And he
what's
has,
coming back.
and he knocked out this. Remember, he fought this tall Mexican guy. He knocked him
Yeah,
the
he
fuck
knocked
out,
him on
man.
the ropes.
Yeah, he knocked him. He has
Mhm.
pop, man. He just like you guys are saying, he needs to sit on those punches. But right now, because it's so easy for him to just move and don't sit on his punches, he keeps on doing it. But I think at some point he needs to start changing that. All right, guys, I want to introduce Gonzalo and Jimmy. Jimmy, welcome to the show.
What's going on, brother?
What's
Drop
up?
your socks and grab your cocks, guys. What's going on?
Ready, man. We're ready to rumble over here. You were on
my thing on Haney is this, right? Because all we can do, right? We all, put in our feelings on it, our opinions. But at the end of the day, what we have to go on is his past. I always say this. Only thing we have is what they've done, right? He has, 25, 29 fights? He has actually a lot of fights, right? Like 10 more than Lomachenko, at least. Right?
Yep. I think
Just
he has
look at the way they've matched him. Why have they matched him so soft? I always question that. It's like, why in 30 fights, dude, you haven't fought one heavy puncher? You haven't taken on anybody that wasn't a guarantee that you were supposed to win.
And that's the same thing with Boots Ennis. That's the same question I asked with Boots Ennis. You got 25 fights. You ain't fought nobody. Like, come on, bro. Like, you being matched soft.
Right?
There's usually something. You're right, Jimmy. You're right, Jimmy. There's usually something to it because, with Devin Haney, I can see Devin Haney outboxing top elite fighters when the experience kicks in. Right, I could definitely see that he has the style to do that. The problem that I have is where's the experience? So when he gets into a dogfight with guys with power, what does he have to fall back on?
None.
Name the name. He has
none.
That's muscle memory.
Listen, he's in great condition. We all see that. He's a good conditioned kid. He's got natural hand speed, talent. I don't think he's late. And my thing, anytime I see someone never standing down on their punches, it's usually because they don't like to get hit. Because that's when you're going to get clipped the hardest, is when you're looking to clip the hardest. So, I don't know, man. And then he doesn't have the power to fucking put away that shell of Gamboa. That didn't say much, and he, make no mistake, he tried. He tried going in. He admitted right after the fight that he tried, and he couldn't. So that's, I don't know. And that fucking dude goes down like a Kardashian on a douchebag.
And I like his honesty in that one. He didn't sugarcoat that shit. He said, "Yeah, I was trying to knock him the fuck out." I was like, "Okay, hopefully you go."
But then, brother, 2 days later, he changed it all. And then a week after that, he came up with more excuses. And then he settled on, I wanted to pitch a perfect shutout because nobody else ever has. Oh, you thought of that a week after the fight. I mean, it's like he doesn't realize, like, dude, you can't. Shit's forever. When you say something on YouTube, that shit's forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I chalk that up to him being young and inexperienced. Because the kid looks like a boxer.
Supposed to step in, right?
Yeah,
wouldn't you think, dude?
Exactly.
No, well,
yeah,
his
like
father.
Bill Haney seems like a reasonable dude. I've heard him in interviews, but he needs, he's a little arrogant, of course, like most father trainer situations. But
he seems intelligent. He seems like an intelligent cat.
No, he definitely is. I've heard him in interviews. He seems cool to me. I tell you one thing, I like him better than Teofimo's father. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me interject right here for a second. Did y'all hear the on Mr. Two Hands Up? What's his name? Teofimo Sr. was on there first, and Bill Haney came on it. Man, they went at it for about 30 minutes. And Teofimo Sr. he ran off like, "Hey, I got to charge my phone."
I haven't seen it yet, man. I haven't seen. I gotta.
Yeah.
I've heard about them going on at it at someone's channel on YouTube.
Yeah, this was this week, man. If you go on there, this timestamp, like Teofimo came on there at like 110, then Bill came on there at like 126, and he told Teofimo, saying he's like, okay, give us about 20 minutes to cook. And after about 20 minutes, like he had already cornered him with questions and logic, and Teofimo Senior was like, look, man, I gotta let my phone charge, man. Give me a minute, I'll be right back. He never came back.
Gee.
These fathers need to stay out of it, man. Especially Teo's dad, man. He's so prideful about his son, man. His son is like Teofimo's his grand prize. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like Floyd Mayweather Senior with Junior. Like, we've always heard about Floyd. Well, at least I did. I've always heard about Junior even before he became a professional boxer. Anytime they would kind of talk about Floyd Senior, his son would be mentioned as his grand prize. But it doesn't work with everybody, man. Sometimes your father could get you into a lot of shit, and Tio got to be ready for that.
Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, please. That's really gonna help the channel. Hit the like button. I was gonna say, like, these boxers in the lower division, they're talking a lot of shit, right? So at some point, someone's gonna be found out as a liar because they contradict themselves at some point, because they're just saying, "Hey, I'll fight you tomorrow. Oh, I'll fight you next time. Oh, I'll fight." And obviously, they know that fights are not gonna take place tomorrow. But they're like, so yeah.
I mean, well, hey, dude, I mean, do we even discuss? I mean, I know for a long time, every time I mentioned, I know D. Jefferson didn't like it. He always got kind of upset because he thought that Crawford was ducking Porter, was a bullshit offer. And I mean, look what he did. He just turned down $2 million. That was the same he got paid.
Oh, yeah.
Now, like I tweeted, right? If, and across the board, and they'll all say it from the mountaintops over at the PBC, Errol Spence is the pound for pound at welterweight. End of story. Okay, so you want more money to fight the guy who's not the pound for pound? Wait a minute, you got $2 million, right? And nobody, and I see people say, "Oh, what about the back end money?" That's absolutely absurd to even bring that up. That's between you and your fucking promoter, back end money. That has nothing to do with the promotion. And on top of that, there's no way in hell fucking Heyman's opening those books up to say, you know what I mean? To fucking say exactly how many pay-per-views, because that's what he would have to do. So that's back end money is irrelevant. So you look at the money that guaranteed was put down, and actually it wasn't even guaranteed with Heyman. I think he got $1 million, and then depending on if it hit a certain amount, then he got $2 million, which what he did get. So they just offered him the same money to fight the B guy, and he turned it down, saying it's not enough.
But something just came out like recently this week saying that there was no offers between Porter and no, that's 100%. Porter's not even denying it now. Even Coppinger couldn't deny it, and he's the biggest PBC shill Porter fucking reporter going. No, they were offered. They bumped it up to $2 million. Bob said, "Okay, we'll give you what you got for Crawford," and it still wasn't enough.
But why?
So,
hey man,
because I guess he's deep in this couple of Netflix,
man.
Right?
I'm kind of disappointed. If that's true about Porter. And I take your word. Like I know Jimmy. I know you look into this.
I wouldn't say that, dude, if it wasn't true. Listen, dude, it's all over everybody. Even the people who don't want it to be true are reporting.
And I like Sean Porter. That's my dude right there. That guy fights everybody. But that's kind of sad because I would have liked to see. It's a good fight, but I could see Bud winning that
he would
fight.
do it. He just wants more money. He wants to retire on it. And it's just so insane that the PBC fans are going after Arum. We'll make it worth his while. I said, fuck you. Like, Arum's like, dude, it ain't. What about his fucking guy? What about Heyman? How doesn't Heyman match it? I'll give you another $2 million to do it because we'll own the belt if you're that confident in him. You know what I mean?
Who's the champion?
Like, listen, Valdez chased him for a year. When I found that out, like, I didn't do my research enough on that, but yeah, I went back, I checked for a year. Espinosa Boxing was pushing for that fight last night. They were chasing him, knowing they were going to be an underdog. Now, Espinosa Boxing, that's their number one guy, Who does that? Who has a management company, a boxing company, and chases somebody to be the underdog in an era when you only fucking take the lowest risk for the biggest reward? That's what everybody seems to be doing. And so my props to fucking Valdez. I'm telling you, when I found that out, it's even that much, you know what I mean, accomplishment for me. But
Guys, we have a phone call. Let's take a phone call. 207. You're on the air. 207.
Yo, from Portland, Maine.
What's up? What's
How
on your
you
mind?
doing? Hey, shout out to Jimmy with his ear to the ground. You know what I mean? Jimmy's always got his ear to the ground. He knows his shit. But he slept on Valdez. Valdez was in the right state. He was in the right camp. When you're hitting the bag with the pound for pound, baddest man in the world, Canelo. And you're fighting a plotter.
brother, I didn't even know I didn't even know he was training with him. That's how little I checked into this fight. I didn't even know he was training with Renaz. I just didn't even.
Jimmy, I was into it deep. I made some money on the fight too. You know what I mean?
Good for you.
I spread my word.
You know what I should have known? When Steve Kim fucking picked him, because he did the same thing with Lopez Lomachenko when everybody was going Loma. Steve went him, and Steve last night went with Valdez.
Chavez, they all picked Burchout. They were on Burchout's stick, and it gave Valdez.
Everybody on Ring Magazine except for one reporter picked Burchout.
I mean, he was the favorite. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But in Vegas, everywhere, he was the favorite.
400.
Nice, good for you, brother.
But
I wanted Valdez to win. I said my heart wants the kid to win. But
I made money on Valdez and Avanesian. I love that David Avanesian pounded the fuck out of that fucking hype-jobbed Porsche with no engine. There's a lot of these fighters with a Porsche with no engine. Caleb Plant, Porsche, no engine. Right? So
100% with
the
kid.
Father-son connection, the dad-son connection. Everybody coming at the old man. These warriors, right? These world-class millionaires, right? Coming at their old man. You guys are out of your fucking mind. Because without that old man, without their mentality, you don't have the kid. You don't have the kid. If you don't have Danny Garcia's dad, you don't have the kid. If you don't have Teal, you don't have Teal, you don't have the kid. You don't have the kid if you don't have Errol Spence. You don't have the father. You don't have Flores, the kid that fought last night. You know who's in his corner? The old man, right? Something special with that old man connection. And then they disrespect to the old men because that's their kid. I'm a dad, right? I have kids. And I will fucking die for my kid, right? And I am looking out for the best interest of my kid 24/7. Anybody, and I'm promoting my kid 24/7. Props to LeVar Ball. Props to all these fathers that have these world-class fighters. Props to Bill Haney. Props to Lopez Sr. Props to Garcia Sr. Props to them all, right? Let's give these guys props, because without the dad, you don't have the warrior. And these guys are wired different than 99.999% of the world population. Not only are they a dad, but they have a world-class fucking fighter.
Can parents make mistakes, though? Sorry to cut you off, man, but
to all those kids every day.
Sorry to cut you off, but can parents make mistakes sometimes?
Look, Buto, my grandfather was inducted in New England Hall of Fame, and he refused to do any of his kids.
Interest in their heart, regardless of what you think of their opinion. They're looking out with blood. They're looking out for. Would you run for a fucking fire for Devin Haney? Right? Bill Haney would. Right? So everybody talking bullshit about T.O. and this. Do you know the old man would die for his fucking?
No, I understand that. But that's emotion.
But Carla, can I ask you a question, Carla?
That's emotions.
Brother, let me ask you a question. Because just listen to you, and I don't doubt for a second you would jump in front of a fucking bullet to give your kid one more day on the earth. I believe that wholeheartedly. But do you think that could blind you inside there? Do you think you might do things that you wouldn't if it wasn't your kid because you're doing it out of such love? Sometimes you don't want that kind of thing because look at my grandfather, right? Hall of Fame, New England Hall of Fame trainer, stayed with the fucking amateurs, but refused. His 5 boys, 4 of them went on to fight in the gloves. Didn't train any of them. Taught him the basics at home, but wouldn't be in the corner because he said it's just never wanted to do that because it's not the same. And so he knew his limitations. He knew he wouldn't have been good. And a lot of people, and for every good like Haney situation, right? And these guys, and it's more today than it has been in years past. Almost in years past, it was almost a no-no because fathers would end up in fist fights, punching the other dude, or even attacking even attacking the other fighter if they see a low blow. How many times have you seen fathers chased across the ring?
Judah with Mayweather.
Yep. So, yeah. So it can be a curse too, though. That love can be fucking make you do silly things.
Absolutely.
But Jimmy, the love overcomes all. At the end of the day, when they hang up the gloves, the dad's still there.
Of course, dude. Yeah, then it's just dad and son again. Yeah, absolutely. But in that business thing, well, put it this way, even in the business world, dude, it doesn't have to be boxing. Would you want to work with your father?
Jimmy, even with Mickey's mom, they stopped. But even with the mom involved, you know what I mean? They're not Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like these boxes aren't Yu-Gi-Oh cards like we think they are. Like let's battle the dragon against the other dragon. No.
Unfortunately, with Mickey, dude, that did fuck up his career, though. Not cutting ties with his family. He should have a long time ago.
But he did what he
could
did.
also hinder you. It could also hinder you. If Danny Garcia would have separated from his father, maybe he could have become a little better. But the love that he has for a child and that relationship so good.
You give credit, at some point, don't they have to part ways sometimes? I'm not saying always, but sometimes isn't it better for them to part ways? Like the father did his job and now it's time for the son to like take another avenue, another course. What do you guys think?
Mucho, if he was any good, he would have other fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like Renazo, like even what fucking happening with Canelo now, and he's really making himself as one of the top trainers, but you know what I mean? Like they would have other guys. When it's only just their kid, it's usually a reason.
Yeah, but with
I don't think Danny's father's taken. I think he's been a hindrance to him.
What other camp are they going to go into, right, Jimmy? What other camp are these kids going to go into that has more love? Like when you walk into the ring and you have your dad in your corner, what other camp's going to bring more that I want to, fight?
No, absolutely. Listen, love it, and you can't put a fucking that's almost immeasurable. But at the same token, that can only take you so far technically. If your dad only has so much knowledge, so much experience, he's only going to be able to bring you so far. And DSG's father, I mean, he beat the kid unmercifully, threatened to fucking shoot him in the face when he was 12 years old because he lost the tournament. Like, I mean, he was a mess. And Danny laughs about it. I'm sure he'll fucking be on a, drug issues for it later. But anyways. So you can only take it so far. You know what I mean, dude? Sometimes you have to let go, and his father wouldn't let go.
And in boxing, if you're taking a beating, what's like that kid Dogbo, your father's in your corner, and he doesn't throw in the towel. Man, when he should have, things could get like complicated too, man.
Right? Imagine the kid dying, you didn't throw the towel in. Whew.
Or he did throw the towel, stuff like that.
When Resto had the fucking concrete in his gloves, I mean, the father was in the corner with Billy Collins. He could have threw that fucking towel in way before, right? But you know what, Billy Collins? They grew up training pit bulls. They were Michael Vick. You know what I mean? It was a fucking live and die. They weren't gonna throw the towel in. That's how.
Also, caller, that. If you look at Billy Collins' I think that was his name, his father knew that there was something wrong with the gloves. He waited. It was weird. I'm not saying he knew throughout the fight, but he went right to the gloves. He was like looking at Resto's gloves. And immediately, it was like, wait a second, did you know that? Did you know that in the fight?
What a sick fucking fuck.
Yeah, that was kind of right? somebody brought that to my attention, and I was like shocked. But
he probably just knew the way the cuts were opening up for the swelling, something was off. You know?
That's not regular
marks.
Gloves. That looks like.
I can't believe he didn't feel it. Like I can't believe right off the rip he wasn't like that. Something's wrong, man. These punches shouldn't fucking feel like this.
I think his adrenaline took
'cause
over.
no. Do you think no? Because like we're talking about a different wiring of a human being. These people are wired different. They're just differently wired. They are fucking aliens. When you get to that world class level, they are wired like a fucking alien.
Hey, when you're in bed, the better your condition is, this is a fact. This is just science. You're willing to take more damage. It's like let's say I have a roofing company and we're gonna work in a building. We need cement to go to the roof, but the elevators are not working, right? So every sandbag is about 80 pounds. I need somebody to walk up 5 flights. I'm just gonna give you an example. The guy who's in the better condition is willing to take as many as he has to take upstairs. Okay, that's the logic applies to fighting. So
I'd convince someone to carry mine.
Right? No, of course. Listen, I would do the same thing too. But these guys, when it comes to and I'm trying to translate it into a boxing fight, the better condition you are, the more you're willing to take because you got total confidence in your conditioning, the amount of pain you're willing to go through, the amount of work you have to go through. That's the logic applies the same way.
Guys, we need to move on. Jimmy, we need to move on. We have another phone call, but 207, call back again, all right, man? Good call.
Good call, brother.
Take
Peace.
care. All right, let's take another phone call. 904, you're on the air, 904.
Why you think?
The hell, where are you, man? The supermarket?
Why do you think Mike Tyson fell off his other board, throwing right in his back?
Yo, you there? 904. All right, I don't know what the fuck he's saying. All right, we have a super chat from Matt Chad. Thank you for your contribution, Matt Chad. He didn't write a comment. You know you can write a comment, but we appreciate your donation. So yeah, we started talking about father and son relationships.
What about when you love your wife, but you also love your father, and it kind of gets complicated, like Teofimo and his wife. They're fighting for his attention.
Yeah, the wife always wins that, brother.
Yeah, man. Or when your father's managing your accounts, like Sean Porter, could that? I mean, maybe be a problem later. Who knows?
Yeah.
What if he's running the string? He's in charge of his money too.
I don't know.
He's his manager, yeah.
I
thought you meant like he had actually control of his purse strings. Like, wow.
Take another phone call again. 904, are you there? 904, caller. Can't hear you. Going once, going twice. All right. I don't know what's wrong with your phone, man. But Gonzalo or Jimmy, the title of this show is Oscar Valdez a pound for pounder now? What do you guys think?
Absolutely. Top 10 easily.
Like bottom 10. Bottom 10, right?
Yeah, I would put him right now. He's an entry. He just made it in there. I would throw him in anywhere from 7 to 10 right now. I mean, I'm not really, my thing on those. I'm not a huge I don't sit and give it too much thought, but absolutely. I mean, I respected him before. I wanted him to win. I thought Burchell, because I was going by his age. I'm like, he's still 29 years old. But like I tweeted, man, he grew old last night. He was slow. Lopez was, he was seeing those fucking things coming. I mean, Valdez was seeing those punches coming. He was on. He was seeing when he was crouched down, he was switching at the hip, making himself even smaller. And when you're fucking, because I've been there, dude, I've been on goofy legs. It's even worse when you have to punch down, because when you're like, if you're kind of out on your feet and you just stand straight up, you're looking ahead. That's why state police will have you do that, because if you're goofy when you're looking, like look straight ahead, and if you're off your feet balancing, that means you're really fucked up. Because when you look down, when you're discombobulated, it makes it even worse. So he was smart. He knew once you got him hurt, he got down, crouched even lower, making him have to throw awkward punches. And when you throw awkward punches, you leave yourself open. Everything that kid was doing was smart. He was overdoing it a little bit with the winging big shots when he first had him rocked real bad. And he took kind of the next round off to get his lungs burning again. But man, I was impressed the way he slipped out of shit. But again, as much prop as I'm giving him, I just want to say too, Brissell did look old. He looked like those wars with Francisco Vargas and shit. You can only take so many of those, and one night your legs just aren't there. Didn't seem like his legs were right from the beginning. Maybe that's just me. What did you think?
Yeah, he didn't look
just a little bigger.
Yeah,
Feet a little slower. When it took him a little longer to plant his feet and throw the heavy punches. He telegraphs just a little because he's cocking to throw those heavy hooks. They just gave Valdez the opportunities. Being the smaller, faster man, he boxed well, man. And also got to give credit to Reynoso because he was telling them to get off the ropes. That was maybe Burchell's biggest chance to chase him and trap him down against the corner and maybe like Antonio Margarito style, kind of put that hurt on him, but he wasn't able to do that. Valdez kept it moving, kept it boxing, and landed the left hooks when he needed to. So I thought it was a good performance. I don't know about pound for pound. There's so many good fighters, man. It's even hard to make up your mind. I'll tell you one last thing. He became a little bit more famous with that win yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what was his top grossing fight before this. Maybe 500,000. I don't think he's ever made $1 million, but he will next fight.
Yeah. I mean, whether or not you want to put it in a top 10 pound for pound list, I think we can all agree this was a pound for pound performance.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a close fight at all, and he was the underdog.
That's why I preface it that way, Bucho. I was like, look, whether he's in the top 10 or not, for me, the question is, was this a top 10 performance and a pound for pound performance? And I say, yeah. Look at all the obstacles that he got over and won big. He fought a reigning champion who had 8 title defenses. Okay, so he fought the number 1 guy at a higher weight class that was naturally bigger than him, and it showed in the ring. And he dominated him, knocked him out. Pacquiao-esque. I'm not saying he's Pacquiao, but I'm saying it's that type of performance.
Right. And you can tell he was emotional too, brother, because at the end, when he knocked him out, that was a vicious knockout. Did you see his corner tweeted out, somebody obviously was recording it with a cell phone. Dude, you guys got to hear the impact on a cell phone. It sounded like you got hit over the head with a fucking 2x4.
And dude, he let out that air right at the right time.
When he cracked him,
Yeah,
and when he was celebrating though like that, to the point where even the fucking announcer, the football, I can't remember his name right now. I'm a little lit, but he was like, okay, maybe he should tone down the celebration because it's even louder when there's no fans. So you just literally, yeah, and because there was a point there, man. It was scary when they rolled him over and he wasn't responding for. You know what I mean? I've always found when someone has no response, goes into the half a minute time with nothing. That's when you start really getting. That's why the doctors, man, got everybody out of there. They wanted air, and
guys,
he was.
I re-looked at his reaction.
Recognize. Let me just read the super chat because it's a very interesting super chat by Carlos Ruiz. He says, last night was a clear example of why Mark Brilliant stopped the fight for Wilder. He should be thankful he didn't take more damage and get slept by Fury. Good point. I think they should stop
that would have happened.
Yeah.
That would eventually that would eventually have happened, or Wilder would have just collapsed, and couldn't get back up. One of the two.
He was going out that round. He wasn't making it out of that round. No fucking way. When he went into that corner, he was done. Those ropes, that corner was holding his ass up.
Yep.
Guys, on StreamYard, we have Battle Rifle and Harrison or Gerson Medina. Guys, welcome to the show.
What's up, Chicos?
What's up? How you doing?
What's
What's up, man?
You know what's another thing?
Go ahead.
About this fight. I'm gonna go back to the weight train stuff. That's why, honestly, I think your walk around weight shouldn't be more than 10 to 15 pounds heavier than your weigh-in weight, because when you cut up too much weight, this is the ugliness that happens, especially when you do it too often, like Burchell. No offense.
Yeah, good point. I mean, he was wagering. I don't know.
I don't
He's a
know.
big
That's what
dude
they
for
said.
130.
I don't know.
And he's 29. How long has he been at 130?
He's been there for a long time, Jimmy.
Yeah, and he's 29 years old.
He's had 8
Listen,
title defense, and I guarantee you he didn't do those 8 in like 1 year or something.
well, I think most of you guys are 30. You know, your waist grows a lot fucking easier and doesn't shrink down when you're around 30 years old. So who knows? Maybe this camp was the camp that he spent it as a fat camp and less time training. Because he's a thick dude. He's got big legs, big neck. So I'm sure he did he had to really melt a lot of weight.
I think he knew something. They knew each other for like 10 years, ever since like back in the day, that he was maybe chinny because he came out the gate in the first round. He came out swinging with that left hook, trying to catch the guy. So I think that he knew that that Burchell was chinny, man. I mean, he got knocked out one time in the past 2014 in the first round by a Colombian kid. But I think he knew that. Why
But he took a lot of shots though since then, and he's been all right.
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
though?
Like Burchell, like I mean, I can't really take people like so completely right when they say that he's chinny. Do you know how much bombs he was taking that night?
Yeah, I mean, he did take some shots last night. Jesus.
Well, he came out in the first round swinging that left hook. You know, you could catch somebody cold also, you know, and he was trying to do that. Valdez was. Why would the smaller man come out swinging? Maybe to impose some respect, maybe as well. I'm just.
Not only that, the caller brings up a good point that if you look at the bombs he was hitting him with, not only there were bombs, they were hitting him in the perfect spot. I guess because the way he was crouched down, fighting small, and then he would let those fucking those hooks go. They were landing right on the side of his head. So if you keep landing on the side of somebody's head, you're gonna hit you're gonna knock his equilibrium out, and you know, and that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. The final knockout was different, but it set up the other shots that were catching him on the side of his head, set up the rest. You know, set up that big knockout.
Well, and you know what I know?
He caught him in the fourth after the 3 study rounds when you're trying to figure each other out. He did catch him and dropped him. I think it was at one point.
I think Renaz, well, he's with that trainer now too. And I, again, I didn't even know that going into the fight, but he's wicked big on film, like that camp Canelo and probably Garcia now too. Like I remember seeing in when it was those behind the scenes they do before the 30-30 type shit, and they were talking about a lot of film study and how he was mentioning how some trainers don't do it. And it is true. Some trainers don't like to do. I think it's in the utmost importance nowadays if you can do it. And you saw a kid last night who knew how to throw. He knew he was acceptable to the left hook traditionally anyways, and then he threw it from a crouched, like you said, looping angle, so he was hiding it, which made it even harder to see it coming.
Then he comes in with momentum because he starts at mid-range and he's coming as you're coming in. Boom. I mean, it's a perfect. The way he does it. I mean, you see people throw hooks. He does it natural. It's like second nature. He could throw 2 or 3 off the rip. You know, it's just like something that he does all the time.
He was shredded too last night.
Yeah.
Valdez.
Canelo juice.
This is probably
Canelo juice.
This is probably. I think this is probably the worst beatings I have ever seen in boxing in a long time. Like this might be worse than Dog Bay versus Navarrete. It might be worse. I'm not sure.
What about Pacquiao David Diaz? That was terrible.
No.
I would say for bombs, I would say this was one of the worst. I'd agree with you. He was landing bombs on him. Put it this way, very seldom do I do that, but I actually got to the point where I even said, man, I even just kind of, you guys might not be religious, but I even said, God, keep an eye on this kid. Like, just threw a prayer up on him because he was taking shots. And I was like, this kid's got a warrior heart, fucking Aztec heart, man. Mexicans, they just keep coming.
Yeah, like
stopped it after the 9th.
According to Teofimo Lopez, he spoke to the referee. He was going to stop it after that round. But then again, I kind of believe that's just what the referee wanted himself to believe. I honestly think the ref was going to let it go on.
That ain't right. No disrespect, but that ain't
I, like
right.
I don't for me like personally, I don't blame the ref as much because although Burchett was getting hurt numerous times, he was showing the effort to fight back. It wasn't like he was just taking endless punishment and he wasn't
Yeah, but
actually.
sometimes some fights need to get stopped, and that was one of them that needed to be stopped a little bit earlier. No offense, but you know.
Well, he did tell the corner. He went over to the corner in between rounds, and he said, "Listen, if I don't see something, if I don't see more from him, I'm going to call it." So I think the reason why Burchell was just going for the fences because he knew. I think he knew he wasn't getting out of that round. Like the ref was going to call it. I believe he was, and he just called it right there, right as
He
there
knew how
was
far
1
down on
second
the
left in the
cards he
round.
was. He knew how far down on the cards he was, and like this is a move that Burchell does all the time, and Valdez exploited it. He stepped over to his left, and he dipped under his jab and threw a hook, and that's what caught him. He caught him slipping, and like for me, like I always knew Burchell's flaws, but Valdez like exploited them perfectly, like to the T. Like almost every flaw that Burchell had, him being a slow starter, he took advantage of that. Him not having proactive head movement, he took advantage of that, and him not covering the top of his head. Don't get me wrong. I'm super high on Burchell. I don't think you guys know how much I was trash talking and how much I was saying Burchell is going to starch this dude. Like that was a hurtful knockout to me. Like that hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
Everything you just said was honest about those are his defects. So it's not like you're
And
lying. You're
caller,
just being honest.
there's nothing wrong with that, man. You keep
Nothing
watching
wrong being
boxing
honest.
long enough, you watch boxing long enough, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. Somebody, because you like a certain guy or you picked a certain guy with a certain conviction. But look, man,
Burchell is
Burchell,
my favorite
and
fighter in boxing right now. He's my
said,
favorite fighter in boxing right now.
something that you
Who do
said
you guys think
earlier.
you should
You
fight
said
next,
that the
though?
reason that he stopped the fight was because Burchell was making an effort to fight back, and I agree with you because I don't know about anybody else. I saw some wide scorecards, and it is fine. But going into the 10th round, I thought you could say Burchell won 3 of. If you're being really maybe generous, maybe you say 4. But I thought he won at least 3 rounds. It's just the rounds that Valdez was winning. He was just hurting him really bad. The 4th round and the 8th round comes to mind. Like he really took a lot of damage in those particular rounds.
That could have been a 7-8. That could have been a 10-8 round easily.
I gave it 10-7 because the referee did call an official knockdown when he hit the ropes, and
yes,
he was just on stinky legs the whole round in the 4th round.
But he
You,
never
you
went
want to know
any
what the most
direction
hurtful
but
thing is as a
forward, man.
boxer? I mean, well, not as a boxer, as a fan, is that I see what Burchell's flaws is, and I think he can easily work them over. But because I don't have that connection like that, I can't actually tell him. And even if I was had that connection, I don't know if he would listen to me anyway because I'm not a boxer.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly though,
Well, I mean, he's a puncher, so he's always going to try to set his feet
It's
before
it's
he
it's
lets the hands go. So that he's like that for a reason. It's not that you're just going to tell him, well, this is what you need to do. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that.
In with
like
with
the thing is,
anytime
the thing
anytime a
is, I
fighter
think
gets
he could
hurt,
have.
I don't care who it is, they always revert to their natural, whatever they do. Like Mickey used to he used to try so many different things. They would get plan for so many different things in fights. Like he was gonna try this and try that, and it's just like he gets punched in the head, then he just wants to fist. You know what I mean? Just bang it out. And like he was,
yeah. Thing
it
is,
just sometimes
Yeah,
happens.
you gotta train it hard to a fighter to where even when they're in fights where they have to resort to being themselves, they will still have a boxer's mindset where I'm still fighting smart. That's like, don't get me wrong. This is what Virgil Hunter did with Amir Khan, uh, when he took him under his wing. Like a lot of times, Amir Khan would sometimes swing for the fences and get knocked out, but like as soon as Virgil Hunter left, you could see the flaws all over again because those training methods that Virgil Hunter used, like even when he was hurt, he really caught himself. Did you see the Colazo fight? How like easily he dominated the guy?
here's the thing.
Yeah, you have to have the attributes, though. This is why Eric Morales was able to fight a little bit of a taller guys as compared to like where Barrera fought that one guy. I think it was Junior Jones, and Barrera lost. Morales was able to do other things because he had the physical attributes to do some things. Because sometimes, I mean, yeah, you can instill into a fighter to do something, but if you change it up so much, he's gonna give away other things that he does good already. But if you're physically built to where you can adapt, you can.
And to go off the Mickey Ward comment, I would like to say like that's what sparring's meant for. Like that's meant to practice what you want to add to your arsenal. It's not supposed to be slap boxing or street fight inside a gym. It's meant for learning stuff that you want to put into the ring in the future.
Guys, I just want to quickly.
You know what? You want to know? Go ahead.
Just quickly, sorry. Chris K, thank you for your contribution. The super chat. He says Berchelt was playing possum. Mora screwed him. Yeah, I bet he was playing possum. So go ahead.
But, I mean,
After
the
a
thing
few rounds,
is,
I knew this
for
fight
Berchelt,
it was over, man. Because Valdez is just a better boxer. He was more fluid, and he was landing, and Berchelt couldn't find them. I knew it was over, man. I got the pick almost to like how I saw the fight was gonna go down, and man, I was elated. I went bonkers, dude. When he got knocked out, I lost my mind, dude. But after like taking a second look, the guy was really hurt. Glassy eyes, looked like he was getting out of a coma. It was crazy, man. Dude got hurt.
yeah, like the thing about it, like I think the thing is like I really want him to come back and become a champion again and do well, but he got so utterly dismantled that everybody kind of knows like what the game plan is for Berchelt now. And the thing about it, I have never seen a person get systematically broke down and knocked out like this and come back. I don't think I've ever seen it. So like,
yeah,
it's
I mean,
one of
look,
those
you got
things.
Pacquiao who did it. He got knocked, but he wasn't systematically broken down.
Yeah, but he wasn't systematically broke down. He was winning the fight.
Right?
Actually,
No,
he
exactly.
actually,
You're right.
yeah, like
But
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, Carl, if you don't mind me asking, are you under 30? You
Are you
sound
talking
like
to
you
me?
are. Yeah, you're like in your early 20s?
24.
Yeah, so you just have the voice. It sounds like some. So yeah, you'll see. Well, if the sport stays like it, you'll see it. You'll see more. Hopefully, nobody gets hurt from it. But yeah, no, I've seen it a few times like that. I've seen actually a lot worse. Go look up Tex Cop against Muhammad Ali. That made the announcer fucking
You mean against Larry Holmes?
quit announcing. It was such a bad beating. What's his
you're
name?
talking about
Howard
Larry Holmes
Cosell
versus Tex
quit
Cobb.
announcing boxing.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking
I
about.
will
You're
never
talking about
call
Larry
another
Holmes versus,
fight, he said.
yeah, you're talking about Larry Holmes versus Tex Cobb. Actually, even though
Was it Larry Holmes when he beat? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
just
Larry
remember it was a
Holmes.
bloody
Yeah,
mess.
even though he took a bad beating, I don't think he was stopped. Like he wasn't knocked out like that.
No, because
Yeah, but
he
sometimes
was.
he's got extra. They did a CAT scan on that dude's cranium, and he had like a 1/4 inch more bone, like he has Neanderthal fucking.
Yeah. That's what I was about to
Cha-
say. He sounds like he has Neanderthal.
Chavez
He looks like one.
Chavez
to be
Senior
honest.
also had like a thick, abnormally thick skull.
Yeah,
Your
Chavez
body.
too,
Listen,
exactly.
your
Same
body is
thing.
it. Your body is science, bro. It's science. So sometimes somebody's gonna have a bigger cranium that allows them. It hurts them in the end, of course, because you're abusing your body, your body, right? Like anybody who's ever did some weightlifting, the more weightlifting you did, a lot of times had to do with your body size, and so maybe you had certain advantages at times, but later on you end up paying for it because you went the extra. You went more miles than the average guy who lifts weights. Same thing for boxing, man. Boxing is the same fucking thing. When I saw what's his name, Burchell laying on the floor, and he kind of had that, like he was twitching. He had
his leg was twitching.
His brain went into electric shock. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Then they turned him around and it looked like he was falling asleep because the shock was going away, and then he woke up. Right, like he woke up. It's like a system in your body, the way your body's made up. And those kind of knockouts, they're not easy to come. Maybe if you're young, maybe. When I say young, I'm talking about early 20s, but 29, 30, that might discourage you because you've been in a lot of wars, and this guy hit you harder than anybody's ever hit you before.
Yeah, that's when somebody was mentioning Baranchik coming back and fighting the likes of a Teofimo. That dude's toast. Yeah, if you look at the
Oh, you're
punch, this
right.
one that Valdez landed, the one the punch that Valdez landed, it wasn't the heaviest punch that the guy landed, and based on the other knockdowns and the hurt he put on Burchell. No, it was. But for you people, I mean, some guys actually, I'm gonna take that back. I sound a little condescending. Some people would say that that doesn't look like a heavy punch. But when a fighter throws that type of punch, it was like a drill. He pulled back like when you're flicking the towel, and you go back. It's the drills that Eddie Reynoso does with Canelo, and this guy. He pulls back and throws the towel. Then you come inside and you throw that punch. Man, that punch just landed on the sweet spot. It wasn't the heaviest punch, but he got the job done.
And he didn't see it coming. He wasn't expecting it. You didn't see the angle, and that's the like when you don't see it, you're not bracing yourself. And listen, he doesn't fight. And believe it or not, dude, your bone, you can't keep punching spot, and it doesn't become soft. But what it does do is it actually builds almost a callus. Mickey used to call it his bone callus. It's the reason why he wanted to get hit a lot, because if you don't, your skin doesn't grow calluses on it, because he would get calluses around his eyes. Wrestlers, the best way I can describe it is this. Those wrestlers, you see them and they got those fucking nasty cauliflower ears, and wrestlers wear them like badges of honor.
Yeah, I had
It's
a
the
few
same
wrestling
thing
in high
for
school.
boxers with their face. Like Mickey would get that. You could tell when he was training a lot because his face just looked thicker. He had like calluses around his nose, calluses around his eyes, and his it was crazy. You could tell.
And those are
like
important.
He always wanted to keep his callus, his fucking punch callus on his face.
Sometimes we as boxing fans will look at a boxer and we'll say, I'll kick his ass. He's too small. He's more than likely he will kick your ass because here's the thing. He's used to fighting on instinct. He does it for money, right? But he's used to doing that on instinct. So no matter what, you might be strong enough, and you're not a boxer, you might be strong enough to catch him in a short distance fight. But the longer that fight goes, that man's going to piece you up. And more than likely, it's not going to go that long because that guy's used to fighting. If you're a guy who hasn't fought in a long time, you haven't been in the gym, or you haven't been in street fights in a while, you may have done it back in the days. You're not beating these boxers. It's not happening. That's a dream.
Hey, I apologize if I sounded arrogant with my last
you
comment.
didn't, dude.
Who am I? I'm really
Dude.
but I'm just sharing my thoughts. But I didn't mean to sound like that.
Dude, you didn't. Listen,
Just
bro.
like
Respect, but like,
If I get
I
out,
recognize what saying, these boxers are the ones that do the work, and I mean, man, they're skilled.
no, but if I get Mickey to come on, right? Because listen, I'll even have him bring it up. I don't know. I'll talk to him first, see if he'd want to. He might be embarrassed by it. But that fucking time, man, when I met my future wife I was 19. We were at the fucking beach, and no, I would just turn 20. That's right. And dude, no bullshit. When I tell you, and I'll talk about it with him on the fucking call. There was 3 Andover wrestlers. It was the heavyweight, light heavyweight, and the middleweight. These fucking, and Mickey was still in training, so he was like 140 pounds. One kid was like 6'3", 240. The next two, and when I tell you, before I could stand up, and when the shit popped off in the next room in the kitchen, before I could stand up, step over the coffee table, push my future wife aside, and run in the room, he had 2 of them already in the fetal position, and the third one who broke the broomstick over his face, over Mickey's face. Oh, he pieced him. He made him hurt. He took his time. He was hitting him with body shots, and the kid was like fetaled up against the wall. Put it this way, right away, like neighbors come running over, these kids we were partying with, like, get him out of here. The cops are going to, because they took 2 of them away in ambulances, bodyboard, neck brace. So next thing you know, the state police are there in New Hampshire, police are there at Hampton Beach, and they're saying, okay, where's the kid with the brass knuckles? And we're like, oh, what? Oh, no, because the doctors called us, said, yeah, no, this was done with the brass knuckles or something because of the damage. Because one kid had a bruise, I shit you not, it started above his eye and it went into his chest. So when boxers punch you with their bare fists and they want to hurt you, it's never pretty.
It's a deadly weapon.
I tell people, I don't give a fuck how big you are, you're gonna get fucked.
Here's the thing. I see a lot of people like they talk trash about the smaller weight classes, like, oh, their punches are feather fisted. No, those guys will destroy your face in a not so pretty way, especially with the amount of punches they throw too.
Dude, if I was 190 and still benching 405, I wouldn't fight fucking Inoue. He would fucking slice my face apart. I'd be spitting chiclets.
Rung this eye too. That man's a monster. I know
exactly,
he's
dude.
right now.
They punch things for a living.
Well, Jimmy, remember Arturo
Yeah,
Gatti in Brazil when the
Beat
people
up
was
half a neighborhood.
he was knocking everybody down. Like boom, they had to throw a bicycle on him or something like that.
Bicycle garbage cans. They try to hit him with a car. Somebody hit him with a fucking.
I was just
Somebody
talking about
smashed
that
a
earlier.
beer bottle right over the fucking his head, and the cab driver said it didn't even phase him. Like, ever get hit over the head with a beer bottle, dude? It's
Yeah,
ugly.
Never.
I have a
Yeah,
scar.
dude, it shattered over his head. And they said he didn't even act like it happened.
Yeah, I had
Well,
my ear hanging off. I got 20 stitches. I went to León, Guanajuato, Mexico, and I got into some trouble there, and I got my head sliced. Hey, Jimmy, chiclets are the gums that look like teeth, right?
Yeah, exactly. Spitting chiclets, man. That's what we say in hockey. Oh man.
Hey Jimmy, I remember when I used to work as a bouncer, right? And I worked with some big dudes. I mean, these dudes were fucking huge, bro. There was this one guy. I mean, I can say his name. I'll say what we used to call him. We used to call him Big Country. So you can imagine, right? Let me give you a description. He was 6'9", and he weighed 300 pounds, and he was mobile.
Mobile.
Dude, he punched a dude one time. He didn't break. Dude, he didn't just break his mouth. He loosened his gum. The gums on top. He almost killed this dude with one punch. Anyway, one time, and if I had to fight him, and I punched pretty hard, and I was really strong back then, it would be like me hitting a brick. But one time we got into a situation. It was a pretty bad one too, because he got hurt really bad. But the situation started outside. I was working the door, and these two guys, they were pretty big. One guy was even bigger than me, and there was video surveillance of nobody saw it. So the club owner played it, and he said, and I appreciated it because this guy could literally bench press me with no problem. Like he could just grab me. He proved it one time. He picked me up over his head, and I'm 232.
You went out into the parking lot, dude? You went actually out into the parking lot to fight with people?
Well, I was outside of the door.
That's dangerous.
Yeah,
I was
That's
outside.
a thing for a bouncer because you don't see it coming.
No, we weren't in the parking lot. I was at the door, and there was these guys.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
They were 80.
The parking lot.
They were 86, right? And they wanted to come in through the VIP section. Something that there was some altercation that happened. Somebody, let's just put it this way, somebody got hurt.
And they were
really
trying to
bad.
come into another way.
And they were coming, and I was told not to let them in that night, which I was pissed off because I knew how these guys would react. And I'm like, what? These guys come in all the time. And they were like, nah, you can't let them in. So anyway, one of the guys coming, and I'm like, yo, I can't let you in. He felt insulted. He started arguing with me. I pieced this dude up. He was a little bit bigger than me, kind of sloppy. I pieced him up. His boy comes, who's about my height, and I knocked him out. And the fucking big dude said, yo, I couldn't do that. The Big Country, he said, I couldn't do that. I'm like, what do you mean? You hit one of them, you're killing them. He's like, yeah, but as fast as you did it. Why? Because I was always in the gym, boxing, hitting a little bit of sparring, not that much sparring, more of the heavy bag, the speed bag, and shit like that.
It makes a difference, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and the confidence that you have to throw a punch like that when maybe the bigger guy doesn't feel in his mind that he can throw it, therefore he doesn't.
Exactly.
His hands, no lie, was almost my fist was half of one of his fists. Half. Like literally half. That's how big that man is.
In town, freak.
Yeah.
Well, dude, listen, even that movie, you know the movie The Fucking Fighter, right? That scene where Dickie gets chased by the police because he was pretending to be a cop and he was shaking down Johns. Well, they were tying in two separate things because the night that Mickey got his hand broken by the police, they did it that night. That was two separate nights. But that night is because Dickie knocked the fuck out of the fucking head bouncer at the club because he wanted to get into the club and he was he was messed up, all cracked out, probably 140 pounds soaking wet at 5'10", and the bouncer was 6'3". Dude, he had fucking arms the size of my head, and all he had to do was just fucking. Once he went to reach out to push Dickie back, you know, he fight Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, Dickie fought Sugar Ray Leonard. And Sugar Ray said it was the toughest man he ever fought because he beat the shit out of Dickie. But yeah, no, Dickie fucking dude. By the time I get out to the club, Mickey, we all got out front. That kid was fucked up, dude. He knocked his tooth out. He had a gash. He had a bunch of meat hanging out above his eye. And his dick, he's like, fuck, I told the dummy. I told the dummy. The way he talks. Oh, man. It was fucking crazy.
Well, to answer your question, Oscar Valdez is definitely PvP, in my opinion, because I had Burchell as PvP, so it's only right to give Oscar Valdez that.
Like what, number
I have
10?
like in the 13, 12, 11 area right now, maybe 14 around there. And to go off of that, I'm not trying to disrespect, but when I made the call, and you guys are like, "Are you out of your mind?" All that stuff with the sound effect. The reason why I had all those random guys in the pound for pound is because they're in competitive weight classes that they don't just talk on Twitter and don't fight. These guys actually fight. That's why I brought Estrada and Noe, Josh Taylor, because these are competitive weight classes where they actually fight each other. No disrespect, but you know what I mean.
Hey, brother, what promotion of all those guys you just mentioned, they're all with Top Rank.
Yeah, Burchell was doing that too. I mean, he could have. I mean, he could have fought Jamel Herring. We should have had that fight by now. But yeah, it's some people trying to spread the idea that he's ducking Shakur Stevenson, even though Shakur just got there last year. But yeah, I don't believe that. The only person you probably could say he just didn't like outright just jump in the bed with, like as far as fight, was Jamel Herring. Almost everybody else he was trying to. I'm gonna say this. Almost everybody else, as far as on his radar, he didn't call out the other champions. That's why it's a little, iffy.
All right. Listen, guys, we're gonna end the show. It's been 2 hours, so let's keep it at that, so we can have more shows this week. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Everybody on StreamYard, everybody on Discord. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. All right.
All you guys be safe, man. Bucho, have a good one, brother.
You too, man. Thanks for
Recognize
joining us.
Gonzalo.
Yeah. Sorry for flying off the handle also these last few episodes because I was a little excited because my son's going to be born, but I called it quits. I'm able to do that. No more for like 1 year, drinking.
No one drinking?
Yeah.
Well, dude, hey, listen, man. You know we got nothing but respect for you, brother. And it's a hard situation, for Bucho and BDA, because they're like, you know what I mean? They don't want to be rude, and because and if if anybody, including myself, I don't drink anymore for that reason. When you're inebriated, you're quick to be very defensive. Everybody is. It's how we're built, right? So they don't want to. Everybody's trying to tiptoe around your feelings. But you're a good dude,
okay, man,
so
worry.
but you know what I mean? It just, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
All right,
Bucho and them are
in the
good people.
chat, in the chat, quick shout out to everybody who joined us: Harpo Marks, Gerson Medina, who was on StreamYard, the Fight Scout, Marcy D, Hawker Mustang, Jack, you big dummy, Grievous, One Foot at the Door, who else? Fat Apples, Jordan, Chiampini. Guys, thank you for joining us. We will see you next time. Have a good night.
And BDA, Gonzalo, before you hang up, dude, I just wanted to say, dude, I swear to God, I thought we were already off the air. I wouldn't even. No, I thought we already kind of went to this, like where you were off the air, dude. I wouldn't even have talked to you like that, Gonzalo, in front of those people.
Everybody knows he was drinking anyway, so it's not.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, because I was gonna DM you last night. I talked to Recognize. It's just because I wanted to know how to get a hold of Gonzalo. Because I was going to talk to him for you guys.
Gonzalo knows.
He's
going to stop drinking.
What's that?
And Gonzalo knows. He's going to stop drinking.
Yeah, and he's a good dude and stuff. But when he gets like drunk and incoherent, and BDA, God bless him, man. He's got the patience. You have less patience. I've noticed that. Bucho you don't take as much shit.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
No, it's fine, man. Don't you worry. All right, Jimmy. Have a good night, man.
All right, brother. Have a good one, kid.
One more.
Peace.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Disappointed in everyone.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more. I'm disappointed in everyone.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just get a little fucking mad.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.